at this time, it sucked because I needed help and I wanted to try to get my GED, but I was out on my own. So I asked Eli if I could stay at his place, but at the time, Paul kicked Nate out too a few months after he kicked me out. Nate was staying with Eli. I went to Donahue and would stay out there with my friends, either at Cole's or Eric's or, but I would eventually find a place to stay out of Andy's. Me and Andy, you know, we got along. And during that summer, I would work at Texas Roadhouse, quit Texas Roadhouse, pick a job over at Burger King, pay rent to Andy's parents. But there was this girl, I would work at Lancer's Grill. There's this girl named Brittany. She used to hang out around us kids over at Andy's house and shit. And she thought I was cute and whatnot, and so we started messing around. I would stay at Andy's house, and then I would then hang out with Brittany over at her house, and we would drive around and shit like that, stupid shit. She was one of the girls I put herself in the front group, try to play one friend against the other. Anyways, at the end of summer, I was in school and shit, and Brittany was in school, and I would try to attend another junior year. Great, I'm gonna be a super senior. And I was trying to get my shit into Project Ready again. But that became hard because of my living situation. It was starting to become more and more real that my dad did kick me out. I just wasn't saying it, and I'd be staying at Andy's house paying rent and shit. And I heard that Eli's dad came over and tried to talk to my dad about letting me move back in because Eli and Nate was on Ray's ass about it. And Ray and Michelle were like, what the fuck? Eli's parents, basically Paul said, I got enough on my plate. I don't need their fucking shit too. Josh's shit too. And so I would fuck up. I try to mess around with the same chick, Brittany, in Andy's house, and I got caught. Wrong location, wrong time. Brittany would be embarrassed, and she would make up some bullshit against me. It'd be brought to the Davenport police's attention and shit like that. And basically, I was cleared of any wrongdoing. Because, I didn't fucking do that shit. And everybody's story matched the same. So basically, they just dropped the whole fucking thing. They didn't believe the bitch one bit. Anyways, I got that riding on me. My reputation has already taken a hit. Things aren't looking too cool between me and Lyle. And basically my friends, they're like seniors now. And I basically fucking was homeless. High school guidance counselor, he would be like, hey, I heard what's going on. And he offered to move me in with him. But nobody could know. Yeah, but he was a high school guidance counselor, and he kind of seen where I was going. And I explained to him what happened. And he already knew about the police shit. And I basically would, he would offer me his home to stay at. Looking back in hindsight, I should have took it, bro. He's like, you can either graduate from North Scott, take as long as you need, or you can stay in Project Ready and get somewhat of a foundation, get your GED, have some stability, you know. He's like, or I will help you get into this youth living program in Davenport. He's like, but you need to have a job. I didn't have one of those. He's like, and you need to be in school or in a GED program. And so I didn't really like the fact of like living with a high school guidance counselor. You know, he could be at risk too. I would still have rules, and I was okay with that. I was okay with rules, you know. But like also at the same time, you know, a young man be like, I ain't boo-moo with you for that, you know. So I took my chances over at the youth living program. Crazy, right? I'd be accepted, and they had a rule, they had a curfew. You gotta have a job, you gotta be in school. No pot, no drinking, no fighting, no sex, no nothing. You can live there from the ages of 17 to 21. As long as you paid the rent, kept to the rules, didn't cause no fucking problems, not trying to fuck in there, you're good. I would visit my dad, I would get 2 joints, and he would ask what I'm doing, where I'm at. I was like, oh, I'm getting my GED. I'm here, you know. I didn't ask him to move back in at all. I just came to visit because he had my mom there. And I checked up on my mom. She still didn't remember me. After her stroke, she didn't remember me at all. It was like she had no kids. She knew who Nate was. Nate was baby, she thought. She knew who her brother was, and she thought I was her dead brother. Her youngest brother, Tim. So I was like, oh shit, what a heartbreak, right? Because all that shit happened out at Andy's house, my friends didn't really want to fuck around with me no more. And shit would come out, they'd find out Brittany just made that shit up. What a fucking fucked up thing to make up, man. And she said, and so I would live there, get my GED, and I would soon fuck that living place up. I had a roommate, and I had one of those joints, and we thought that we could get away with it by blowing it out the window. Nah, we were caught, bro. They had window sensors, shit like that. They knew what it was. It was fucking pot. You can't mistake that smell. So I would, I'd be kicked out for pot and fighting. I tried to blame it on this black guy, but I quickly realized in the act that was a fucking mistake. Learned a few lessons then. Never ever loan your car out to strangers. And if it's your fault, you fucking own that shit. I would already be in trouble for fighting there. And it sucked, bro. It fucking sucked. I was out. It was fall. It was December. We were having a warm December that year. And I didn't have any place to go. And, you know, I asked if I can come back. Paul was like, fuck that, you ain't coming back. I was like, oh shit, so I'm gonna be homeless throughout the winter. Great. I would then find my way moving into my Uncle Bill's house. Well, apartment is right behind the machine shed. Great location, I know. Oh, I know. I know what the fuck it was. I was 18 at the time, and my uncle said, "You can live here, you can sleep here, but the rules are as that. If you didn't pay for any days, because you pay by the day." And so I gave him like $100, and he's like, "Well, this pays you up for like 2 weeks, bro." I was like, "Shit," because he was charging me. He's like a little under 2 weeks, yeah. He's charging me $15 a day. And I would get to hang out with my Uncle Bill a lot. Get to learn what he's about. It sucked though. Because my Uncle Bill, that place had my Aunt Dorothy. They were never married, but I always called her Aunt Dorothy. But like, they would, but Aunt Dorothy was there. She was a heroin addict. She was the mom of my cousin, mom to cousin Richie, and she was related to a notorious family that was known for being fucking psychopaths. They were known for dealing drugs, going to prison, beating people up, using hard drugs, being pimps. Like, not pimps as in like they're good with the ladies, but actual fucking pimps. They would, that'd be the first time I was actually around hookers, like around them. You know, when hookers ain't doing their work, they're not doing like money making activities. I was actually around hookers, like hanging out with hookers there, and it was crazy. I was doing the whole labor ready thing. My buddy Eli, he was picking me up and shit. Me, Nate, and Eli were trying to do the whole labor ready thing. Nate's time at Eli's house would be coming up, and I would then you know, think about, hey, maybe I can move in with Eli once Nate's done. But, you know, Eli's parents were kind of getting done with Nate's shit. And they're like, hey, you got to get the fuck out, Nate. Sorry. Got to make shit work out elsewhere. I would stay at my Uncle Bill's until like around like January. I would have to, me and him would get into an argument. He was drunk as fuck, man. It was bad. He was drunk as fuck, bro. And he kicked me out. That's after I confronted him about stealing my money and going through my change and shit like that. It was all bad, man. Not that I was the best, you know, but I would turn 19. I would get fucking blackout, shit-faced drunk. The week before that, I would then get into an altercation with Dorothy's nephew, where I would insult one of his girls, and she didn't like it very much, and so she told Larry and shit. My uncle had to get involved. Larry wanted to beat my ass with a fucking hammer. He wanted to fucking break my fucking jaw with a hammer all over a fucking cigarette.